in B3 to B6, you have some data. Okay, you asked for some names of employees, let's say, and this is what your IT department has given you. Okay, everything together. One dot and some space and then name. First name, last name together. What you really want here is the first name and the last name separately. Okay. Now, of course, you can do it using what you just learned, mid and find and all that. And I would strongly urge you to try and do it using mid and search and all that. But let's see how easy it is to do the same thing using text to column. Okay, so here it is. What I have to do is, let's first select this data, go to data tab and click on text to columns. Here, text to columns. Click on text to column. And this is what comes up. Okay, everybody is okay with this now? All of you got it? Okay, great. Now, choose the file type that best describes delimited and fixed width. My data is delimited, meaning between the words I have a delimiter. The words are, or the tokens, the technical word to be used here, the tokens are separated by us by spaces. So I'll go for delimited. We'll later look at what is fixed width, but let's now go for delimited, right? So delimited. And then we go and say next, right? And now Excel says, what is the delimiter? And my delimiter is space. As soon as you check the space box, you'll see that Excel has sort of extracted, right? It shows that line. So serial number, first name and last name. That's great. Then go next. Okay. Here I have the option to skip a column if I want. So I do not want the serial number 1, 2, 3, 4. So what I can do now is select the first column and simply say do not import column. Skip. Okay. Do not import this column. The next is destination, and by default it shows B3. Now if you keep B3 and say finish, then it will overwrite. I do not want to overwrite now. So what I'm going to say is click here and give the destination as D4. Okay, D4. So that's where you want text to column to put the data. And now say finish and it's done. Okay, so this is one great advantage. You can do very, very sufficiently advanced stuff with just a few clicks, which otherwise would have taken quite a bit of functions and all that, right? Okay, anyway, now let's do this. I have two addresses and everything together, and what I want is the name, the school name, the address, the city and the PIN in different columns. Use text to column
Sir,
to do
I have a
this.
doubt.
So select this and then text to column and delimited. Of course, I go to next, right? And here I cannot go for space because DVMS, there are spaces in between, so that will just create a problem. But what I can see is there's a comma which can help. So I uncheck space and check comma, which is what I want looking for, right? And what I'll now do is that I will go to next, right? I'll go to next, and I will say I just a second, please. There is a name and there is an address. So what I don't need is the landmark, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, look, don't import this. I don't want it. Look, I'm not interested. So say do not import, right? And here we'll go and say destination is this. Okay, and say finish. Okay, so now name and address done, right? But there's a slight problem with city pin, correct? Because the delimiter in this case is that hyphen, which we did not select. So what I can do now is I can just select these two and go to text to column, right? And then say next, and then say other and the minus sign, right? Other and minus sign, and then say next, right? I do not want to skip anything, but this time I really want to overwrite. I want to overwrite, and therefore I'll not change the destination and say finish. So my job is done. So 2 steps, but can we do it in 1 step?
I think we can use the others option.
Yeah.
Multiple delimits.
Yeah.
Yes, we
so you
can.
can do that. Yes, we can. So we can do that. Okay, good. The next is name city pin, which is just simply skipping the address as well, which you know how to do, so we'll not talk about it. Here what we have is these are times meaning 6:45, then 2:12, 12:45, 15:46. So times, right? Hours and minutes. So how do you do that? So here what you can do is you can use this fixed width, right? Instead of delimited, you can use fixed width because there's no delimiter at all. So you can simply say fixed width, right? And go to the next one. And here simply click after this first two and the line, you get this line, which also can be dragged if you want, okay, to the left or the right. So just use this as fixed width and say next and destination. This is the destination and finish, right? So now you have 6 hours, 45 minutes, so on and so forth. Okay, so that is again a very useful thing in Excel text to column, right? So when you start working with data, you get all sorts of problems. The text to column can sort of fix a lot of these problems. Okay, the last one, which is also very interesting, and
I have a query.
Can I just finish this and come back to you? Okay. So here, so let's say you asked for date, right? Let's say date of birth, let's say. And this is what you get, right? The ID department or IS department gives you the data. This is date in the form of a text. These things happen all the time, right? So this is date in the form of a text. So the first one is really 14th of July 2011. Okay. Now you want to make it a date because unless it's a date, you cannot really work with dates. So let's say you want to figure out, when does this person turn 30 years, let's say, right? So there are date functions which can help you do it. But you simply cannot use those date functions on text, right? So you have to change this to date. So this text in this weird form has to be first changed to date, right? Now, without text to column, it's a real pain. But with text to column, it's so easy. Just look at this. I select this. I go to text to columns, right? I then simply go next, next. And all that I do is I say, look, column data format is date, And this is YMD format, YMD format. Okay, YMD. The destination is this cell, let's say. And you say finish. And there you go. 14th of, and this is date, right? And this is date. So you can use date functions on these values that you have on screen. Okay. So again, a very, very useful thing to do or to know in Excel. Okay.